nights I feel my heartbeat racing slow in candlelight. Words unspoken, feelings hidden, shadows dance until the morning light. When you say you need me, I'm holding on tight. All these doubts inside me fading out of sight. In this moment, nothing else feels right. You're probably right, yeah, you're probably right.
All right. Yeah. Okay, check this out, okay? Just want you to listen to something first before we start this podcast off right. Let's go. There's a little song that me and my daughter sang. But listen to the words. It's not our song, it's Sparks.
Did I drive you away? I know what you'll say. You'll say how. Sing when you know.
But I promise you that
Promise you that
I'll always look out for you. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I say, oh, I say, oh, yeah. I saw a spark.
yes, a spark.
Yeah, I saw a spark.
Yes, a spark. Yes, a
All right, y'all. So today's episode is episode 277, I believe. I think I'm correct in saying this. Hold on one second. I got this. I gotta fix this music thing here. Track right here. Clickety click. All right, it's good. All right. So let me just get my script out here so that you can listen to me and hopefully you like what I have to say today. I need you to listen, guys. You might want to replay this one a few times. Just being straight with you. And you probably know why once you start listening. Hopefully I read it properly. Remember, this episode and all my other episodes are for entertainment purposes only. I am not a professor of anything, and I do not profess to be a professor, except for a professing Christian, of course. But as you know, as many of you have listened to this podcast before, that this is not a Christian podcast. It is just a podcast by a Christian, which I guess it still makes it a Christian podcast per se, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to be pulling out scriptures necessarily, and I prefer, if anything, I even tell you that seems slightly biblical, that you go and you check the Bible for yourself, the 66 books of the Bible, New Testament, Old Testament, you know, that book, growing dust on your wherever, night table to ward off the spirits. Open it and read it. It's better in than out, just saying. And find yourself in a Bible-believing church that does expository preaching, not the preaching that they just kind of pull ideas out of the sky. And after all these thousands of years, nobody's ever come up with this concept that kind of strays from the text. Not that kind of preaching, real preaching. Okay, so here we go. Welcome back to You're Probably Right. As you know, I am MCM. And you know, I've called this episode When Their Heart Grows Feet. Now, it sounds funny, the imagery in your mind probably, but why I decided to call it this is, you know, there's many things that happen to us, and we all have feelings. Even the people who are hurting other people, they have feelings too. And sometimes we forget that. And sometimes their actions, you know, coming from their heart, but it's like, why? And what are they doing? Is their heart growing feet and running away? Is their heart walking away? Is the heart sliding away, skating away, or is the heart kicking your butt? Have you been devalued? Have you been discarded? Have you been disrespected? And I'm speaking to people, people who've been through it, and people who are going through it, and people who were just started to go through it. I'm talking to you who are maybe sitting the same place you were sitting yesterday. Maybe you haven't eaten. Maybe you're in bed. Maybe you're just trying to numb the pain. Maybe you're self-medicating. Maybe you're losing weight. Maybe you're sadder than you've ever been and you never thought you could be this sad. I'm talking to you people like that. People who are going through those things that I probably can't even imagine, and those things that I can't even describe. And that's the reason why most of these episodes have been done. They're therapy for me as well. I've been through some stuff myself, and that's why, if you look at most of the topics and things that I go through, most of the time I can relate, even though I do research, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just me, but I've experienced these things, and I think the best thing to do sometimes is just to talk about them. And life can be embarrassing, depending on how you look at it. And I think people need to be more comfortable in telling their story, because when you tell your story, there's someone out there, guaranteed, out of 8 billion of us, somebody is going through the same thing that you're going through, or going to go through the same thing, or when you're dead and gone. So why not leave some sort of a legacy so that, the pain that love taught you or gave you, you can open the door for someone else. You can break down walls for other people. You never know who that would be. Could be your kids, could be your friends, could be your family, could be a stranger on their last. So anyhow, here we go. If you've been here before, this space is for truth tellers, overthinkers, heart healers. Here we don't run from uncomfortable conversations. We talk straight through them. And today, or tonight, it's probably going to sting a little bit, but in the best way possible, I promise. Because we're talking about the moment when the person you love starts slipping away, walking away, running away. When the laughter fades, the nicknames are no longer named at all. The text messages slow down, and their presence turns into absence in real time, leaving you reeling, scraping, trying to get closer a lot of the time, making it worse. This one's called where their heart grows feet. So take a deep breath, sit back, and let's talk about what really happens when someone's heart walks away before their body does, and after. That wasn't supposed to happen. Hang on a second. You ever notice how love doesn't always end with fireworks? Sometimes it ends with a whisper. You can almost feel it happening. The slow fade, the quiet withdrawal. They still send a text here and there, still tell you they miss you sometimes. Yeah, they still send a text message here and there to tell you that they miss you sometimes. Still play their part of whatever that is, as I said. But something feels different. The warmth that used to be in their words has gone lukewarm. Their eyes no longer hold the same light, and they tend to not hold your gaze as long. Their laughter lands softer, almost distracted. You know what I'm talking about. And before you even realize it, you start living off of old memories. You start rationing affection like it's running out, because deep down you already know it is. That's when you feel it. Their heart has grown feet. It's still standing near you, but it isn't with you. And the scariest part, they don't even have to leave for you to feel abandoned. Because when love starts dying, it doesn't scream, it sighs. It fades quietly, and one day you wake up realizing you've been holding on to someone who's already gone. This one's for the people who stayed too long trying to bring a pulse back to something that was already cold. For the ones who over-explained, over-gave, over-hoped, who used to be overjoyed. For the people who loved fully, but lost themselves trying to be enough for someone who stopped showing up and possibly never did, but you were always hoping. And maybe you're still hoping. Because sometimes what breaks you isn't that they left. It's that they stayed long enough for you to think that they wouldn't leave at all. Let's start with the hard truth. Sometimes love doesn't end because of betrayal or conflict. It ends because someone stops caring with the same intensity that they once did. Maybe they got what they wanted. Maybe they got what they needed. Maybe they used you for whatever you were worth. And that's changed. And that's the heartbreak that's hardest to explain to anyone else. But if it's happened to you, you know. Because nothing technically went wrong. There was no dramatic ending, just a slow disappearance of effort and care. It's not that they suddenly stopped loving you one day. It's that they started choosing comfort over connection. Their comfort, of course. They stopped being curious, stopped asking questions, stopped listening with the same heart. And the moments that used to feel sacred just became routine, everything. A check mark instead of a choice. You find yourself trying to fill the silence, sending longer texts, trying to explain everything away, hoping that when you've made it crystal clear that somehow they'll see their way back. Because right now, whatever they're seeing is murky. You say to yourself, talking more, explaining harder, apologizing for things that don't even make sense. And all it does is make the gap wider. Did you hear that? Sending long texts, talking more, explaining more, trying to be in their presence more, apologizing for things that don't make sense. And all it does is make the gap wider. Because love cannot be convinced back to life by logic. There's something deeply human about wanting to fix what's broken, to try one more time, say one more thing, make one more grand gesture. It's in you, right? You tried it, right? Did it work? But here's the danger. When you start performing for love, you start abandoning yourself. You become a version of you that exists just to please, to prove, to earn. And maybe you were able to hang on for a couple extra months, maybe a couple extra years, maybe a couple extra kids. You shrink your needs because you think being low maintenance makes you lovable, not a bother to have around. You start whispering your truths so they don't get uncomfortable, talking under your breath, talking out loud when nobody else is around. And what does that do? It drains you. That's right, it drains you. Slowly, quietly, until one day you realize you're exhausted from trying to matter to someone who's already gone emotionally. Sometimes people walk away in silence, not because they're cruel, but because they're afraid. Afraid of depth, afraid of responsibility, afraid of being seen too clearly. They love the version of connection that feels light and easy, but when it asks for depth, time, proper connection, or accountability, they vanish. Other times, it's not fair. It's fatigue. Relationships take energy. Communication takes honesty. And not everyone has the emotional stamina to keep showing up. They choose avoidance over effort. They'd rather ghost than admit they're tired. And then there's the truth we don't want to face. Some people just love the feeling of being loved more than they love the actual person who's loving them. They enjoy the validation, the charade, the pomp and circumstance, the pictures, social media, the emails and the WhatsApp conversations with family, maybe. The attention, the power of being needed, until it becomes too much work to reciprocate. Whatever the reason, you end up in the same place, standing in a relationship that feels one-sided, wondering, what did I do wrong? You replay conversations in your head. You read old text messages. You listen to old voicemails and voice messages. Maybe you even ask people in your circle of friends or whoever interacts probably with both of you, or maybe just them. Talking to their friends, trying to figure out what's going on. Their friends talking to you, trying to figure out what you're doing wrong. Searching for the exact moment they checked out. But there isn't one, because hearts don't send notices before they leave. They just drift quietly into indifference. When that happens, something changes inside of you too. You start living on the edge, scanning for signs, interpreting silence like it's a secret language. You feel like you feel like if you can just decode it, maybe you can fix it. But you see, your attraction was never something that you calculated in the first place. It was just there. And now it's gone. But what you're really doing is bargaining with reality. You know the truth. You just don't want to accept it yet. Because Acceptance means grieving someone who for who may be still right in front of you. That's one of the hardest things to do, to let go of a love that technically is still there, but emotionally gone. You start wondering, what if I had loved them better? But love doesn't work that way. You can't make someone stay by outloving their apathy. And that's where people get stuck, right there, in the space between hope and denial. When the heart walks out. Here's what I wish more people would understand. When someone stops showing up for you, you don't have to chase them. You don't have to send more heartfelt messages or write one more closure letter. Because if they wanted to be caught, they'd stop running. Love that's real doesn't require you to beg for clarity, for reciprocity. Man, that word. When someone cares, you feel safe. When they don't, you feel confused, possibly lost, alone. And confusion, confusism. What the heck did I just made up a word. Confusion is a form of communication. It's your intuition trying to warn you. So listen. When someone's energy starts pulling away, that's information. When they stop showing up with intention, that's truth, because that's what's happening. Stop trying to read between the lines. The message is already there. Stop trying to make other meanings out of it. The silence that follows walking away isn't peace. Not at first. It's withdrawal. It's detoxing from the inconsistency you got used to be, when you called it love. You crave their attention like oxygen because you built a rhythm around their unpredictability. And when they disappear, your system panics. That panic doesn't mean you made a mistake. It means you're healing. You're finally facing life without the illusion of their love to distract you. Healing is messy. Some days you'll feel strong, others you'll relapse into nostalgia. You'll read old text messages, you'll look at old pictures. You'll miss the version of them that only existed when they needed you. You'll miss the way you felt when they made you feel chosen. But that's not love, that's longing for validation. Real peace doesn't come from their apology. It comes from realizing you deserve better. And that closure you were waiting for is already here. In the silence that followed their exit. Psychology of detachment. Detachment isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's looking at the situation and saying, I can care about you without collapsing for you. It's emotional sobriety, refusing to be intoxicated by potential. According to psychologists like Dr. Harriet Lerner, detachment is an act of self-respect. It's the decision to stop dancing around someone's inconsistency. When you stop trying to change them you shift the focus back where it belongs: your peace, your stability, your self worth. And that's when you start to grow again. You discover that things that make you feel alive, your hobbies, your creativity, your independence, you remember what your laughter sounds like when it's not trying to cover pain. You realize that version of you who exists before them wasn't wasn't naive, they were whole. And let's be real, a hard truth we avoid. Sometimes the person who walked away isn't wrong for leaving. They just weren't meant to stay. Timing, readiness, compatibility, they all matter more than chemistry. You can meet the right person at the wrong time and still lose them. You can love someone deeply and still be incompatible. So stop measuring your worth by how long someone stayed. Measure it by how gracefully you handled their leaving. You don't need to win anybody back. You just need to win yourself forward. Moving on in practice. You decide to let go. Well, when you decide to let go, here's what it looks like in real life. Acknowledge reality. Don't sugarcoat what happened. See it clearly. The distance was real. The release fantasy. Stop replaying the old highlight reel. It doesn't serve your future. That goes for watching videos and looking at pictures. Reinvest your energy. Every ounce of your love you poured into them, pour it back into yourself now. Forgive slowly, but make sure you forgive. Not because they deserve it, but because resentment keeps you tethered to pain. And stay open. Don't let one heartbreak convince you that connection is dangerous. It's not. It's just sacred. Healing isn't about forgetting them, it's about remembering you. One day you'll wake up and realize that you haven't thought about them all morning. One day, maybe not today. The song that used to wreck you will play and you'll hum along without the actual pain that usually goes with it. You'll drive past the restaurant where you used to sit together and it'll feel like a chapter, not a wound. That's how healing sneaks in. Quietly, kindly. You survive what you thought would end you, and then you start living again. Their heart may have grown feet, but yours learned to stand tall, and eventually to walk too, but this time toward peace. Because here's the difference between them leaving and you letting go. They walked away to escape something. You walk away to evolve, to move on. Like yawning, can you imagine? It's not been that long. Anyway, listen, that's not loss, that's liberation. It's hard to see it now, but trust me, you will. So when someone's heart grows feet, don't chase it. Just wave, wish it well, and keep walking forward into the kind of love that doesn't run. Anyway, y'all, thank you for listening to You're Probably Right. If this talk spoke to you, obviously it did. Well, I did. Share it with someone who's beginning, the struggle of letting go, somebody you know. Because healing doesn't always mean closure. Sometimes it just means understanding yourself better. And if you'd like to connect, reflect, or hear more episodes, follow You Probably Right on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, maybe. And remember, the next time someone's heart grows feet, let it walk. Your peace is not negotiable. All right, y'all. Take care of yourself. SemCM out. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while, understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.